ஆச்சி அதிரசமா விடுங்க, கையில தட்டி சூடான எண்ணெயில பொரிச்சா அதிரசம் ரெடி.
Painful, yes, definitely. As it is rightly said that everything said and done to end anything is painful. It was definitely not easy on 14th March when I was stepping out of my house, coming to the new house, and it was not easy at all. It was a very, I cannot even think of that moment. But it was a very honest choice that we both stood together and took, because we both wanted, along with our son, we all three of us had a conversation, very beautiful conversation over Zoom. But at a point of time, we both were honest with each other, and I think Ashish took the step ahead, because I don't think I would ever have the courage to take this step ahead. We have met a very few times, but Suhasini Maniratnam.
Wow.
I have to mention that she is a woman how I forgot about her. But it didn't occur to me because I don't interact with Chennai people. But she has been an amazing, powerful woman who has inspired me just by her presence, her being. And she sent me a very beautiful message after I moved out of the house. But otherwise, I don't have any friends. But I would definitely now, I think the first chapter has opened with this interview, that I am connected with Chennai. Chotto ei monta, ei chotto asha, matali monta, ei kheyali bhasha, চাঁদ তারাকে ছোবার আশা ஆகாஷே ஆகாஷே.
மிஸ் வாவ் தமிழா நேயர்களுக்கு வணக்கம். இன்னைக்கு நம்ம கூட ஒரு ஸ்பெஷல் கெஸ்ட் இருக்காங்க, ரஜோஷி மேம். இல்ல, பிலோ வித்யார்த்தின்னு சொன்னா உங்களுக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் இன்னும் ஃபெமிலியரா இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அவங்களோட கண்ணா இருந்தாலும் முடியா இருந்தாலும் எல்லாமே நம்ம அவ்வளோ பார்த்து ரசிச்சிருக்கோம் இல்லையா? ஷீ இஸ் வித் அஸ். ஹாய் மேம்.
ஹாய்,
எப்படி இருக்கீங்க? ஆர் ஹவ் ஆர் யூ?
I'm good.
Yes, so this is the first interview you're giving here in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
Do you know any word in Tamil, ma'am?
வணக்கம்.
Beautiful, ma'am. Manakam. Your separation with your ex-husband, Ashish Vidyarthi, sir, we heard. And it was very pleasantly put out that we are taking this decision. And from your part, it was like, I am going to look after my career, or this is for me that I'm taking the decision. It was put out that way. We don't know how many women take it that way, or how many families support it that way, because this is a very, pleasantly put out thing. But obviously you would have had your struggles, because after 22 years of marriage and getting into separation will not be an easy thing, right? So how was that, phase of your life?
Painful, yes, definitely. As it is rightly said that everything said and done to end anything is painful. It could be anything. Any situation. Ending something, always, when a journey ends, like you go on a trip also and the trip ends, you feel a little sad. So the ending always, and yes, 22-23 years, I know him from 1997. I know him 99, we got married. So it's been a very, very long journey, decades. And it was very beautiful. We still have, and we will continue to have that fondness for each other, affinity, affection, these things. So sometimes in life, yes, it is very aptly, as you said, that a large part of the world may be, wondering that, wow, this is so beautiful. Because in life, actually, we all tend to look at what is not good, what is not working. The why is very important, and the why, when the human minds look for a why, they look for a negative reason of, oh, so this is why this happened now. So they want an answer which kind of matches with their own internal struggles in their lives. Now I can connect it. This is why this happened. Now I'm happy. Now I'm actually, now I get it. So they want that one, oh, now I understood. They want to we, day by day, I also include me, we all want to understand and say that okay, now अब मुझे समझ में आया इसलिए हुआ है, and that is my samajh, that is my understanding. Lot of people who also wrote and shared that this is beautiful, and things can be beautiful with the pain. Pain was there, it was not easy. It was definitely not easy on 14th March when I was stepping out of my house, coming to the new house, and it was not easy at all. It was a very, I mean, I cannot even think of that moment. But it was a very honest choice that we both stood together and took, because we both wanted, along with our son, we all three of us had a conversation, very beautiful conversation over Zoom. And we said, okay, we are on the same page now with all the pain or everything put together. But yes, honesty, that when something is, I am thinking of life ahead in a certain way, and I keep pretending because just for this whole thing not to, because the world is always or the environment or the tradition or the journeys have always told you to no, stay together. Now staying together with a lot of hidden lies or hidden things that no, I am just, it may be detrimental to the overall environment which you're constantly hiding. And you definitely try, we tried, um, but at a point of time, we both were honest with each other. And I think Ashish took the step ahead, because I don't think I would ever have the courage or to take this step ahead. So he actually took the step and helped all of us through, going through, and he chose his life, which he wanted, which I said earlier, and I'm saying again, and I can say again and again that every human being has a right. It's his life, it's my life. And in that life, we are not together as a husband and a wife anymore, but as a human being, as a somebody who's from far away. We don't talk. Sometimes on occasions we have a small chat maybe. But and he has a beautiful partner now who is a godsend thing, because he's a good person, he's a good man, he's been a great father, he's been a great husband. So it's just that the husband wife thing, and I am not probably cut out right now for being a wife anymore to anyone, because a husband and a wife needs a certain kind of a honesty and integrity, and a walk together. There are expectations that needs to be met, and up to a point of time it can be handled. But after a point, maybe if you honestly see that no, I really can't do this anymore, it will be pretending. It will be constant pretending and putting up, an act of okay, no, it's okay, it's okay. But then it's not okay with you deep down. So I think with all the pain included, you probably can take a step like this, which we both did. And we are okay in our lives, happy, he's happy, I am happy in my life. I have my own challenges, my own struggle, but I had it there also being married. So
Yeah.
it's not life will be without struggles. So it is not that now I'm alone, so I won't have I have my own struggles, I have my own happiness, I have my own everything. It's a new world, and I'm adjusting in that world now, because it's been not very too many years now, but I'm adjusting, and I will certainly adjust and roll through. I know I will roll through this.
As a woman, it is very difficult being in a family to take a decision. As you said, you were also not that courage to take that decision. And there are so many women out there uh, who are not, who are still not ready to take this decision. Maybe it is a bad marriage, maybe it is a happy marriage, whatever it is, whatever the reason may be, they don't have the courage to take that step, right? But when you took the decision, it was, I don't know if I can say the word inspiration, but so many people got an idea, okay, this can be taken in this way, everything is not negative, there are positive things in every decision you take. And what is the one thing that you want to tell to those women who is not able to take all the decisions?
It's human to human, and as I speak, I am saying this to myself and every woman, that there is a difference organically, genetically, scientifically, God made man and woman. So there is a certain way women are, with all the modern times, with all the if you are a woman, then you will have certain things within you playing up all the time. You need to be the owner of the game that you are playing. You need to own it up completely. I don't know how one will do that. But while playing the game of life, I saw that I could do all this. I am where I am today because I owned up my game. When mother, friends, relatives, in-laws, everyone loves me. I'm so blessed that I have received immense love from the world, and I continue to do. I mean, nothing can be more than the love that I get. So, and it's not put on. I mean, I really know that people love, and from far away. But everybody tried to tell me in their own ways, subtle, direct, you know. Uh, they my friends threw tantrums, closest ones. How can you do this? Why can't you just go ahead? We're all doing it. You can do it. Got that answer that I don't want to do this. I don't want to cheat. My moral is not from right and wrong. It's from conscious. And I said, I don't want to keep lying about who I am not. For that, I will lose something. It's a very big price. Yeah, we have paid. But uh, at that point of time in life, you say it's a very big price. But later on, you realize, be true to yourself. So you need not have the courage at that point of time the action is not important for any woman. Okay, let me do this, let me step out of the house and leave everything and go away. That's not what I'm talking about, or that's not what I did. That action of stepping out of the house or getting away, that was the final stage or the final act that we came at after traveling a journey of fighting with your own self, being honest. So honesty gives you strength, vulnerability gives you strength. Yes, vulnerability sometimes makes you weak also. You need to be conscious about that. You need to be alert about that. Where is it taking you? It does take me offline sometimes, but I am trying to be conscious about it because I know that vulnerability and honesty is my core root and strength, from where I draw all my energy from. And what is happening around me, who likes me, who does not like me, who judge me, people, I mean, I'm talking to women, so I'm not talking this is as a personal thing. People will have opinions, they will judge you. So the sound around you needs to be quietened only by you. So
Yeah.
quieten the sound around you and listen to the sound of your soul, and then take whatever choice you make.
And with all the force, you have come back to your career from the scratch again. You have started giving auditions. You've started acting, doing music, which you love. It is not which is done forcibly, but you're doing it all with love, all with your soul. And how is that journey? Because from the mental breakdown that you had, and now living your life on your own happily, like how you wanted it to be. How is that change?
The only answer the response that I have here is that there is no constant in life called aisa tha, like it was like this and it's there. I am a lot of times very unhappy even now. I feel very lonely sometimes. uh, but then I turn the table and I take a u-turn, and I bring in back my happiness again with my core root strength of being honest with myself, and not hearing the sound that is disturbing me. So I keep away from so I choose those moments and I live. It's going to be like that. It's never going to be all like one linear graph and going straight. It's going to have those. I was a statistics student, so I have those bar charts all going up and down. So it will have that. I would love to. I never thought I could. I had this Chennai group of women friends many years back,
Oh.
with whom we traveled to Russia. Kausalya, her name was Kausi, and Rati, Kausi, and Shireen. A lot of these women who were, it's a women's group. It's called, I forgot the name of the group. They travel together. We had gone with them to Russia, traveled, and so in the bus we used to, they used to sing all the Tamil songs, and I used to sing with them, sometimes just hum along. And so I designed this with my friend Ritika Sahani. Do visit our page called the Hummingbards Official on Instagram, and
Sure, ma'am.
I formed this duo band with her, and both of us curate and design, and we just connect with people's minds through music with hums. We don't use too much of external music, but we hum along, and we put, so that's one thing that I designed also, and then I collaborated with my friend, and now both of us are together in it, and we enjoy doing that. So this is how, as that question comes, I keep myself happy, busy with music. It's not getting me any commercial, that kind of success, but yeah, people know us, they love us, and they look for our, our music to come, so we keep posting this music. And I would love to come to Chennai and do something also, because I've never thought I could come to Chennai because of language barrier. I used to think that, how do I go and communicate, speak there?
Ma'am, please do come, ma'am.
I hope before I finally retire, I mean, before I retire, I would want to also probably explore doing a South Indian movie. I watch them, but I have no courage to, think even though, can I do this? But now, after talking for so long with a Chennai person, I think I can manage, of course.
Do you have any friends here in the industry, movie industry in Tamil Nadu?
Not really. I used to. I've never been there. Technically, I don't have any friend in the industry. I have some musicians who I know. There's a guy called Vedant who's a very good musician. I know him. But yeah, I don't have actors. I used to know Namrata Shirodkar, but she's not from Tamil industry. I think she's from Telugu. She's married to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mahesh. Yeah. So, but otherwise, I don't have any friends. But I would definitely now. I think the first chapter has opened with this interview, that I am connected with Chennai.
Yes, ma'am. Soon we'll be seeing you in South. And looking to the another part, starting your career again in your 40s or maybe in your 50s, doing all the auditions. How does that feel, ma'am? Because you're not in your 20s. You're not. Sorry, ma'am.
People keep guessing my age, and and I have no problem with numbers, but the whole, I don't feel the pressure of age. It's a blessing. And all my school friends, when I meet them, honestly, most of them, I see that, oh God, I said, oh no, I need to age. I need to, I need to be a little different. My youngest, I mean, my students who I have to, they're all my friends. So my friendships are like, yeah, it's a vast canvas. A few days back, I was talking to a friend of mine. She's 29. And I said, listen, I am older than your mother. So she said, so what, Trudy, you are timeless. You are timeless. You know, you don't. So I have never had this pressure of, this is the number that of year that I'm living. So I can't do this, or I can't do that. I should do this. I'm thankful to God so much that I am not bound by this whole. I am bound. I want to surrender to honesty. What my soul is talking. It's not what this happens, that should happen, that shouldn't happen. So I have never found it that at this age, I have had people very close to me who speak this language, and I hear them. No, this is not right. At this age, if they ask me to do this, I cannot do this. So I am completely, like I'm totally disconnected at that. It doesn't enter my conscious. It doesn't enter me, because what age? I have nothing to do with that. It's a moment of a choice where something is coming to me. I want to do it, the context. If I want to do it, why? If I don't want to do it, why? The two whys are very clear. Out of those two whys, I choose one which my conscience is clear about, and then there is no regret of, no, I think I should have chosen that why. So that conscience is very clear. It's a struggle, I know, in many areas of life, that taking that two whys, why yes, why no, is very important. But I know that I struggle there, but I try. I want to be struggling at on that platform where I choose a powerful why, of why I'm choosing. Audition is the need of the hour. I mean, I don't. think that I will sit here and think that I should not do this because I am at this age and this stage of my life. I started wherever I started. This is where I am today, as simple as that. And I need to do this to reach out to casting directors. They're throwing me their need. Give me an audition. I need the work. I need to work. I want to work. It means I want to work, so I need the audition. So let's give it to them. What's the big deal? So that's how I look at it.
Beautiful, ma'am. The way you think about, the very small things in life, like it's actually beautiful. And we have to talk about your son, ma'am. What is he doing now, and how is his support in your life? Because he is a grown up now. How is your, the mama son relationship?
The best mama son can ever be. We have a friendship. He's very playful, full of humor, and completely, he's witty, intelligent. He's been a brilliant student all his life, just by, and we have raised him not consciously, but yes, some part consciously, some parts like organically, but he's been raised very well, and he has turned out into a amazing human being who's 20. He's going to be 25 in November, and he is amazingly kind, compassionate, understanding, yet very practical, pragmatic, and responsible. It's not because I'm the mother. I just cannot find, apart from things like, oh, he's disorganized or he doesn't keep his things in place, other than those things, I cannot find a human uh, flaw or thing in him where I can complain about. He's an amazing person. And we chat. He was with Tesla, working with Tesla from 2022. He just quit his job at in Texas, and he moved to San Francisco. He's joined a new startup and working from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. at night, with startups the way it is. And he's taking his life ahead with all his experience, choosing those experiences, taking his calls completely independently, and and takes time out to chat with me. And I mean, I am not a mother who I have friends who like used to say, even when the kids were away, he was studying at Berkeley, California, engineering. So my mothers used to say that, oh, my son, I have told my daughter, I have told my son every day, 5 minutes or even 3, you have to call me once every day. I need to hear your voice. Now I used to think that, well, I don't want to do this. Not that I can't do this, or I don't want to do this. I don't want to be that way, a pressure on somebody to call me every day and talk to me. So I am a, pressure-free person, and that's why where there is pressure, even in a marriage, when there is pressure and the pressure cooker is, so you need to, before it bursts, you need to release the energy and, open the lid and let it out. So my Mowgli, his pet name is Mowgli. His name is Earth. So Earth and I are absolutely like that. Right now I know the amount of hours he's working. That too, I found out after 50, I think maybe 10, 12 days. I didn't have any communication, but I'm not worried. I know that my prayers are there. I know my son is fine. It's just that I know he's busy and he's occupied, new job. So I just happened to chat with him for 3-4 minutes, and I got his world. What is it? I said, listen, you don't take any pressure of any calling, anything. Whenever you have I have 2 minutes, I want to talk to my mom, and then call ma and talk to ma. I'm always there to pick up the phone, and we will talk. Or Sunday, I will call you sometime, and we'll have a small chat. But don't right now. Just do be where you are. So we have a fantastic relationship. He asks me about if I want to get married or not again, and you know what. So he and I have a very open conversations.
How do you look into your life? Where do you want, your life to be taken to? Maybe your career to be taken to?
I want to do good work. I want to do those interesting roles that I probably dream of. When I watch series on the OTT, I watch a lot of things on OTT. That's how I spend most of my nights, evenings. I watch a lot of, I have very few good friends who I socialize with sometimes, but I'm on my own, and And when I watch those series, uh, I dream of doing getting that one or those roles which I really want. I know I can crack it. At this stage of my life, I know I can crack those roles and do a decent job out of it. Just waiting for those roles. I'm sure that God will send something my way. I'm just waiting for it. That's all I want to do. I want to do. Pratidhwani is a baby that I have, which my friend Sridhar and me we run, and uh, he's a very talented human being. Both our heads and whatever talent we share put together, I want to create training modules, workshops, for curriculum designs, some things around training for for humanity. Yeah, just not just for children, but for humanity. Uh, so that kind of I dream of those things, and I want to travel with the work that we do, with and of course, yeah, hand in hand together. And right now, I'm excited about the hummingbirds also, which I'm doing with Ritika. So that suddenly given a high in life, so I am keen that that also we hum along and we take it somewhere where again we become. So these kind of things are on my plate right now. Nothing more than that. It's all related to my art expression and work ahead in the journey.
Yes, we are also waiting, and we are also waiting for you to, step into the South Indian industry with the roles that you want to do. I want to start with your career, ma'am. You were born in Kolkata, right?
Yes.
Yes, born and brought up in Kolkata, having your base there. How did your career start in the film? Because you also have a musical background. How did it all start, ma'am?
Actually, I don't have a fixed timeline. It's been very organic for my life.
Okay.
Art was always in the family. So my mother being an right primarily a singer, and she moved to acting in 1978, and she became that clicked for her very well. So she became a very well known actress over time, and today she is one of the most the renowned Bengal actors, senior actors.
Yes.
She continues to work still. She's 78, but she still continues to work. So that's how I grew up in that kind of an atmosphere. Of course, my father was in the corporate, but he was fond of arts. So that was always within me. I never thought that I would get into this as a full time profession. I was doing my economics honors from Jadavpur University, good in studies, academics. So I passed out. My graduation happened, and then masters. So I started working. But when I started working, it was again I knew that I don't want to do regular job, but I started doing regular jobs in hotel industry and advertising. But I somehow knew that this won't last for very long. But I just continued, and then 1993 I got in touch with by chance I happened to meet somebody, and he just by chance, just for fun, he took me to the radio station. We had a FM show going on, and he said, why don't you come and watch it? So I went with him, and then the next question he asked me is, would you like to do it? So I said, why not? I can try. And then I got that job. I tried like a sample, and they liked it, and I worked with Times of India Radio Mirchi, which was that time known as Times FM,
Oh.
98.3 Times FM. So 1993 onwards, and until 99, I worked with Times FM. After that, Times Music for a couple of years. When I shifted to Mumbai, I got moved to Times Music as A&R head, and I was working in the artist and repertoire, producing music, selecting artists, and producing albums. Kept me connected with music, so I liked it. And then I think I just by again just for like let me try. And some people will say this is aimless, but for me it was very natural. And then I tried. My son was growing up, so I always wanted deep down to be able to do everything, but priority definitely was my heart wanted to be with my child most of the time, that I can give him and do whatever along with it. So that's why I probably didn't go all out to just do, career. And I tried doing, I did a portfolio, and that's what I was told to do, that, do this. And then I did a portfolio, distributed pictures to, at that time in 2000, 2001, 2, that time it used to be physical copies of pictures that you distribute. You your sticker of your name and number on the pictures, and you send it to production houses. I used to do that. And then I got some small things here and there, some ads. I did it. And in 2000, so I did some small roles here and there. I don't even remember them because they were so small and it's not very significant. But just, I was just trying it out, that how does it feel? And then, but I used to always have one thing going on in my life, back in Kolkata, back in Bombay again, that I was always connected with theater. So theater is something that kept the real actor in me, or the thinker in me. I love to think and write, and so I also write things. I write songs, I write verses and free verses. So I used to love doing being around theater. I started a lot of work with children around 2004-5. As my son was also growing up at that time. So I I love kids actually. Yeah, it's one of my craziest connections I have is with children, and they love me also, uh, somehow. So I ended up doing a lot of work with children, children's theater, and then gradually, I think I was working with Nadira Babbar, assisting her. Nadira Babbar, being such a senior personality in the theatre world, I got her wisdom. I mean, I got a lot of value and teaching and training offline from her. So I started doing theatre and continued doing theatre. Then I got, again by chance, one audition happened. So things happened through auditions here, and I got called. I just got that role, and though I said no to them in 2013, I said no. I don't think I can do this long hours of television, but they convinced me, and I started doing television. So that's how I think that the train left the station and started moving, and I continued thereafter.
Career predominantly started after your marriage, ma'am.
Yeah, you can say. I mean, see, I was working before marriage. That was a very successful career as a radio jockey and program producer, design in Times FM. The whole Kolkata used to know me as a very, very popular RJ, and I used to get called for opening shows and being a
Wow.
judge. So I was known as a very popular radio jockey at that time, who also sings. So I used to get called for shows. I used to sing also, but I was known. But then when I left that city and came to Mumbai, I really had to kind of, you can say, I started completely from scratch all over again.
Scratch. At what point in your career did you feel that you have to take it serious? Maybe singing or maybe acting. You would have had a point, right, ma'am?
Think when I was doing Suhani Si Ek Ladki on Star Plus, that show that I spoke about. So that was 2014, 15, 16, 17, 3 years the show ran. And it was, I used to work, and my son was like 13, 14 years old by then. So I had that little bit of, liberty to engage myself more, uh, go out and work for 12 hours a day, or whatever. So I could do that, and I think at that point of time I started looking at life as from a place that, yes, I can now do this, and I don't know whether the right word is seriously, because when I take on something, I do it with a lot of passion, honesty, and love. So I have never had this whole element called I have to do this, otherwise it will, otherwise I can't live without this. This has to, that whole desperation was never there in me at any point of time in my life, right from childhood. I mostly respond to the environment. I think it's manifestation, or it's the time that it gives me something, and then I take it up and I do it. Right now, yes, I am in the last couple of years when I'm absolutely on my own, alone. I really am looking for work. I mean, and there is no way of looking for work actually. There is no formula for it. But what I do is I like it or I don't like it. I feel like it or I don't feel like it, irrespective of how I feel or think, my mood. I get up, I get ready, and I do auditions. I keep giving
Wow.
tests and whatever. That's the way it is for a certain where we are right now, because we are still not the that top line actors where we had so one hit. If I have like a major role, I think after that I can still call for that. I don't want to give auditions, but right now we are in that league where we give auditions, and then we get calls from I get calls from good casting directors, and so that happens. And so last night also I came back from a memorial function of a dear friend who passed away last year. And after coming back at 10 o'clock also at night, I did my audition. Somebody was asking for an audition for an ad, and I did that. And then I, retired for the day. But I do that regularly.
But what is the one thing that makes you so much happy? Is it music?
Music.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of posts in Instagram, you singing with very senior peoples in the industry, and your, standalone post and all. So tell about your music journey, ma'am. Which was the first song you sang?
Actually, I don't remember, but I've been humming and singing from, through my life, from the time I just, so music has just been there, and it is, as I said, as you asked, it's the one thing that they're two very different. They're close to each other. They're very, they're two very critical and very pivotal points of an artist, of a kalakar, but they are still different, because as an actor, when I love that also. I love when I'm performing as an actor, but the music in me shapes me as as my entire. So if you talk about how I speak, if I talk about how I look, I think, lot of it is connected with music. So I don't remember what song I sang for the first time, but yes, music is there all over in my like journey, memories. So I do this interesting workshops where I use music to heal the mind of and in a very simple way. It's not a very intellectually very hi-fi something, but it's very simple, that as you sing from the heart, without thinking anything about the world, people judging, looking at you, whether you're good, whether you're bad. So I do this workshop. I work with my close friend we have a company called Pratidhwani, and so at Pratidhwani we do these workshops. We do a lot of things. So one of the things that we do is that I design, and we do it together as a team. Are these workshops? So I do a workshop called Ga Womanya, where I invite any woman, housewives, or mostly these women who like to sing or hum, but they just don't go beyond the karaoke mic. They will just at the most in their own four closed doors open up, when nobody's there, put up the karaoke and sing. So I go a couple of steps beyond that and ask them to join this workshop, and I make them sing with incidents, with memories, because people run away from a lot of things in life.
Yes.
So they don't want to look at things. We all don't want to look at things, but I think I have cracked it in my journey that but when you look at things, you tend to get negatively, or I would say, you tend to get pulled down with your emotions. But how can you use the same emotions to pull you up and maybe release a lot of things which are with you as a human being? So fight with your things, but I like designing such things with music. So more than performing and getting followers and getting likes, and I'm sure I like that also, but that's an also for me. That's definitely an also for me. My primary thing is the satisfaction that I get, the fulfillment that I get from contributing to anyone, including myself, by singing and connecting with the soul that is deep down hidden, and it's gotten cremated by the daily needs, responsibilities, by the daily wants, desires, attachments, and need to be survival needs. So I try and dig that out.
Any song for us? Can you sing any song for us?
What I had done in 1990, I think that was my first album in Kolkata. So it was a Tamil song, but I don't know the Tamil one, but I will give you the tune. You will know it. It's the Roja song, but
Yeah.
my mother had written the Bengali version of it. And I had, that was the first, and the album was also called Chotto Asha. So it was, Hindi one is also called Choti Si Asha. So the song
Choti
was
Si Asha.
Chotto ei monta, এই ছোট্ট আশা মাতালি মনটার এই খেয়ালি ভাষা চাঁদ তারাকে ছোবার আশা আকাশে আকাশে উড়বার আশা ছোট্ট এই মনটার এই ছোট্ট আশা. That was the song I sang.
This is the Bengali version of Rojala, ma'am.
Yeah, nobody knows about it because at that time we were like, so it was just an album that was done, and at that time people heard it, and then it's forgotten now.
Playback singing version, or you did the stage shows, and how was that singing part actually?
Oh, again, this is interesting because if I look back, I tried, more than trying, I got an opportunity to do everything, but probably I was not meant for it. Maybe, I don't know, because it is I got the opportunity in Kolkata. I did a lot of albums actually. I have music albums. I have done at least 4 or 5 albums back when I was in Kolkata, and I used to do shows where people used to call me for, I was associated with a band, so I used to sing. When I was singing in the band also, doing those shows, at that time I did not realize it so much because I was in a frenzy, doing shows, getting shows, and you go and you do the shows and you come back, and it's like all hustle bustle. But later on, when I look back, or when I moved out of it also, I did not miss it. So I realized that that was not, my heart or soul doing that, wanting. It was like a time pass thing for me, because music I always loved. And at that point of time, I was enjoying those evenings singing there. But in a deeper level, when I think that was not something that I would want to keep doing, you know. So I did some albums, and I moved out. So when I started producing music in Times Music in Bombay, where I was I was connecting with very big artists. So being around them in the studios, producing the music, taking care of everything, I was growing in the world of music also. I was listening. I was, in Hindi we say there's a word called sobat. So the environment that you are accompanied by. So I was actually growing at that time, and I never chose. So I did reality shows. Yes, I was the second batch of Saregama Pa. Now it's that and the show which is so popular. At that time, our time, it had begun, and it was known as TVS Saregama. So I was the second batch. I got selected in a Kolkata audition. They had come to, do auditions. And in 1995, I came to Mumbai and shot for Saregama. I went up to the semifinals. And then I did Meri Awaaz Suno. I did a couple of reality shows. I used to come from Kolkata and sing and go. Maybe I was not even prepared for it so much. I was, so I don't have any regrets about it, but those are experiences that has made me grow a step ahead every time. And then my son was growing up. So at that time, I kept took training from a teacher called Celia Lobo, who's a very well known, and her daughter Deirdre. So I am still in touch, and I keep trying to train myself. Even now I try, but now I think I'm not so active in it. But I intend to get back to learning mode again and keep growing with music. I didn't focus on playback so much. I did a couple of things. I did jingles, advertisements
Mm.
in Kolkata. In Bombay also, I did 2, 3 jingles, and then I did some television serial singing also. Like I sang for 2 or 3 TV serials, title songs. That's because somebody who knew me and I was appropriate. They called me. I never went after it. They call in Mumbai. There is a word, and maybe in other cities also, called networking. So
Mm, yes.
I have a whole world of people who know me, and it's been expanding. So I know that people know me. I post things that I do, which I naturally do, and then when the time comes, they will call me if they find that. I mean, the voice. I think that the voice. There are so many voices around. There are so many actors around. So why will somebody just pick up one person from Piru Vidyarthi from Pamkot and take me out from my house? And there is a
Mm.
time, and I let people know that I'm there. My presence, I let them know. Even now, I'm doing that as I'm giving this interview. That I am there. I exist, and if you need me, you can reach out to me, and I would love to do work with you. If that happens, if we can collaborate and work, it will be great. So that's how I look at life.
You talked about your son. So, how was your motherhood? Because you were busy working as an RJ, as an anchor, doing shows and all. But after that, after your marriage, how was the motherhood journey? Because you've taken a break, you slow down your work.
Yeah, I took a break consciously when I was working with Times Music. I had to travel in Bombay. It's huge. Travel is a huge issue. It's a huge thing. People get used to it in Mumbai. So I used to travel from Andheri to VT, like it's the end of Bombay town, right at the other
Mm.
end where the town, real Bombay. So I used to travel by train, and after that I got an offer from HMV Saregama group, and they wanted me in a position of a software head, programming software head, producing software for FM stations which were getting privatized at that time. It was in the process, so they wanted me to head that division, and I became a software programming head, cluster head for this western zone, and they gave me an office in Andheri where I used to stay. So it was maybe 10 minutes from my house. I chose that job just to be able to come back home much faster than I would otherwise be doing. So
Mm.
I chose that job. So my consciousness always, I never operated from right and wrong, that this is not good. I should spend time at home. I should give time to my son. So so I don't have any regrets that why did I do that. It was constantly a clear choice that I made. That there was no pressure from anywhere. My ex-husband, there was no pressure from
Mm.
anywhere that you do this or you don't do this. All the choices I made were my choices, but my conscience was, constantly, or my gut was telling me that, maybe you can do this, maybe you can not, maybe you should do this, maybe you can do this. So I always had possibilities floating around me that maybe I can do this, maybe. So a second thought, and a third thought, and then choose it. And once I choose it, I choose it. So I
Mm.
chose to do this job, which, so I used to call my son with his nanny from the house around 5 o'clock when he woke up from his nap. And I used to ask her to bring him to my office. And it was a small office with just 3, 4 of us, new office.
Mm.
So he used to come and play in my cabin, in my room. And, it was very beautiful. So, and then gradually after that, I left it. I saw that he's growing up and I would like to take him to school. I would like to be there when he's coming back from the school or pick him up from the school, which I could not do with a job. So I
Mm.
consciously, I left it. And that was the part of life where in fact, I was sharing this with my son just 2 days back, chatting. And that, how those little things, taking him for his tennis class, where he's, a lollipolly boy just playing tennis because he wanted him to lose weight. And I was just sitting and reading something there, waiting for him to come running and have his water from the water bottle that I kept with me. Those little things, and then holding his hand and going to take an auto rickshaw and going back home. Those little things are not little things actually. They have rooted me. They have rooted me to be calm, to be adjusting, to be to accept. I'm not a very perfect human being. I do have struggle in accepting like anybody else, but these roots are helping me always to stay calm. And
Finally, ma'am, I really wanted to ask your skincare routine and hair care routine, ma'am. You have this beautiful, clear skin and your hair.
nothing.
Please.
You don't know how I can't tell you that on camera. How what I'm completely like a zero, a cheating, matlab complete cheater in this. It's God gifted. I One thing that works maybe is my mind, because somebody will interpret definitely it as I'm boasting about myself here. But I have a clean mind. I cry like this. Today I Today I was like, I will, be completely alert. No, not a drop of water. But I cry like this, and it's not sadness, but crying is interpreted as sadness. But how my skin is like this is because my tears wash away all my, garbage, all the garbage that I have for thoughts, all the negative thoughts, all the things. So it is like my chest becomes heavy, and then immediately, it washes out. That's the only treatment I think I have, or I do. I have no creams, I have no packs, I have nothing. And this hair that you see, it's like now also it's very thing, but I've just opened it. Yes, I have very long hair, but
Yes,
because I didn't cut it for, and I have one vitamin called BTN Forte for my hair every day, one tablet. That's just for it to remain healthy. That's one vitamin I have. It's biotin. So I have that tablet for my hair to be healthy. Otherwise, I do nothing with hair and hair care and skin care. The thoughts keep me. I think today is the first time I'm saying this, that I discovered while talking to you, that my washing out with my tears, everything, anything pent up, I wash out. So my skin probably glows because of.
close. Nice, ma'am. But the people in, the Kolkata, Bengal, and they have a special hair oil, right, ma'am? They prepare for hair because all those people there, all the women there have very long, thick hair.
अरे साउथ में तो इतने लॉन्ग हेयर होते हैं. आई तो सी साउथ इंडियंस हैविंग सो ब्यूटीफुल हेयर. आई
Yes,
थिंक
ma'am, but
बंगाल एंड साउथ बोथ. बंगाल
हाँ.
डेफिनेटली एंड साउथ. साउथ में भी होता है बंगाली. अभी क्या है ना, everybody now in Bengal also you'll find lot of haircuts which are short. But yes, I chose none of my. A lot of people ask me, but did you ever cut your hair? I say I only trim maybe 1 inch in the down part when it becomes jumbled up. But I've never cut my hair that I remember, like making a short cut here up to here. I've never in my life. Not that anybody has told me. My mother has never said do this, do that. But I think I didn't just want to do it. And that's how it happened. It just remained with me. My hair always was like this, right from childhood.
Really. Jaya Bachchan, ma'am, she have mentioned in some interview about a hair oil that she make in those areas in Bengal and Kolkata, a recipe of an hair oil. So I thought I'll get something like that from
Yeah,
you.
that time there used to be, those days, Keo Karpin and Joba Kushum Tel, they were those typical, those with flowers, organic hair oil that people used to put, our nannies, and, that time. But I think now everything is, you are getting everything online. There are experiments online every time your Instagram shows you products. So I am not a buyer of products. When I go to a beauty parlor salon, I only go to do a proper hair wash, because washing this much length hair in the house sometimes becomes difficult. So sometimes I go only to wash my hair properly, or maybe once a month, and they come and tell you that, why don't you use this shampoo and this conditioner and this cream and the on the hair, and they'll tell something about the hair, it is becoming a little greasy or a little frizzy. I tell them that I will handle it at home. I will not buy products. So I never buy products.
So you don't use any natural pack also, like this hibiscus or any leaves that you know,
No,
mix it in.
actually, I don't have that kind of, time in the day. I don't even, my mind does not go there to do hair care and all. I know that I have to take care. So sometimes I go and do a proper wash with maybe a good conditioner, and then give it some life and then manage it again at home like that.
With
Oh, I
you.
forgot. I have a friend in Chennai. Sorry, Suhasini. Yes, she has been so. We have met a very few times, but Suhasini Maniratnam
Maniratnam?
is.
Wow.
I have to mention that she is a woman. You know, how I forgot about her, but it didn't occur to me because I don't interact with Chennai people. But she has been an amazing, powerful woman who has inspired me just by her presence, her being. And she sent me a very beautiful message after I moved out of the house, and I still have that. And Suhasini is somebody who's we connected. Whatever time we met, 2 3 times I think, and we connected. And I think we there is a connect I share with her. We don't talk, we don't meet, but she sent me a very beautiful message after I left the house. And so if she hears the interview, I want to say that you have been one amazing driving force for me, Suhasini, and lots of love to her.
So you have to surely, come visit Chennai and also Suhasini, ma'am. You have a chance now, ma'am.
I will, I'm sure. Manifestation has happened, so it will happen soon.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time, for this beautiful conversation. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.